Welcome to a HUGSI short clip from the annual 2024 event.
Now, into the next section here. 2024 is believed to be the hottest year ever since they started measuring. Heat is challenging all over the globe, but especially in our cities. This is an area that we would like to address further. To help us understand more about this, I would like to welcome a guest. It's Professor Mark Nieuwenhuijsen. He's connected to the IS Global program in Barcelona, Spain. And he's with us on a link. So let's see if he's with us here. Hi, Mark. Welcome to the annual HUGSI event. Great to have you. Great that you could join.
Thanks, Eric. I mean, I'm so glad to be here.
So, Mark, based on your research, what are the factors affecting expected life of people living in cities?
So, of course, there are a number of different factors. Particularly, what we're looking at is things like air pollution, the level of air pollution, green space, the level of green space, what we see in cities, noise, temperature, and also physical activity. These are some of the main factors. So what we see, there's a lot of variation in the levels of air pollution throughout different cities, and the more air pollution you have, the more people die and get ill. That's probably well known so far. But also what we know now is that the level of green space within cities is very important for people's health, in particular for people's mental health. So we need to have green space. Also, we see that a lack of green space leads to premature mortality as well. And then also what we see, noise. Cities are often quite noisy. We know that noise has a particular important impact on people's stress level and cardiovascular disease. And then what we see more and more with climate change is also heat and urban heat island effects that actually result in premature mortality, mental health disorders, respiratory disease, and this kind of things. Then also an important factor is the level of physical activity. Physical activity is extremely important for people's health. The WHO, World Health Organization, recommends about 30 minutes of medium to a high intensity physical activity per day. And many people don't get that. So we need to also get more physical activity. Behind this all is also things like social economic status. I mean, how much people earn, how much money they have is, of course, also a very important factor in driving health, and also related to inequalities, what we often see.
Interesting. And there's many factors, as you say, but you mentioned temperature and heat islands as a particular challenge for people living in cities. Why is that?
Yeah, so climate change is a major driver. We see more extreme weather events. What we know is when you get extreme weather events like heat waves, you see that more people die as a result. I mean, in 2022, we saw 60,000 more deaths in Europe because of heat waves. I mean, this is a very large number, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, at the moment, the estimates are that, over so many decades, this will triple, actually. That what we see, particularly in cities, is that the city center is often 4 or 5 degrees warmer than surrounding areas of the city. And this is because there's a lot of asphalt, concrete, and other similar material that absorbs the heat and doesn't release it very quickly, but or it releases at night, what creates this kind of hot pockets of air in the city center. Also, this is related to more adverse health effects. And probably a lot of people know it's much more difficult to sleep, for example, when it's quite hot at night. Your sleep is quite disturbed. But what we see is, of course, also more mental health problems and also premature mortality.
Yes. So Looking into mortality specifically, what does research tell us about how heat island affect mortality rates?
Yeah, so what we did not so long a study in 100 European cities where we looked at the relationship between urban heat island effects and mortality, and we estimated that 4% of mortality during the summer months is due to the urban heat island effects. Also, what we modeled is that if you would increase tree cover in the cities from the current 15% to around 30%, you could reduce temperatures in the cities by on average by 1.3 degrees, and this would prevent about a third of the urban heat island premature deaths. So that's quite a large impact, actually, what you can get by increasing green space in cities and thereby reducing temperatures in the city.
Yes, and I think it sounds really serious and something we really need to address. And what's your view? How does cities act today to meet these challenges?
What we see nowadays in cities is that there is more awareness of heat and heat waves. I mean, in particular, in Southern Europe. I mean, here in Barcelona, we used to have about 2 weeks during the summer months that would be too hot, and now we get up to 6 or 8 weeks that are actually too hot. The cities are aware, and they come up with refuges for so-called climate refuges where people can shelter and get fresh, more cooler air. What we see is also that more cities are planting trees, because I mean trees are very good for reducing heat and the urban heat island effects. But of course, for trees, it takes many years to grow, so the effect is not immediate there.
Yeah, the trees are growing slowly, but they will also help us to manage this. So thanks a lot for joining us, Mark, and sharing your wisdom. And good luck with your further research. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure.
Great. So based on the research done by Mark and other researchers, we want to support cities in fighting rising temperature with what we can bring from HUGSI, data and insights. So that's why I'm very happy to announce for you today the new urban temperature view.
Cities around the world are experiencing rising temperatures at an alarming rate, making them increasingly hotter year after year. Heat comes with health issues, causing death, disease, and unrest. How can cities manage increasing temperature and reducing the negative effects? There is a concept called surface urban heat island effect. The definition is when the nighttime average temperature is higher in the urban center compared to rural areas outside the city. To help cities manage and decrease the negative effects of increasing temperatures, we are working on a fantastic new addition to HUGSI. We call it the Urban Temperature View. We are using global temperature data from the Sentinel-3 satellites to monitor urban temperature and calculating SUHI for all cities in HUGSI. You will be able to view the urban temperature and the urban temperature heat map to understand to what extent your cities suffer from heat islands and what areas are hotter or cooler than the average. We all know that more green areas is a way to tackle urban heat islands. Our ambition is to provide new insights and data to help understanding where more green space should be planted by combining green space data, population density data, and urban temperature data. The Urban Temperature View will be rolled out to all cities part of HUGSI during the fall of 2024 and spring of 2025. Let's cool down our cities together.
Yes, and As said in the film, we will gradually roll this out to all cities in the coming months. And it will be very exciting to see how you can make use of this to make new policies, to drive more actions, to really fight the increasing temperatures in the cities.
Thanks for joining us as we have now revealed the latest trends and insights from 344 cities in more than 60 countries across the globe. Thanks for viewing the 2024 annual update. All new data and features are available at HUGSI.green. See you soon again.